Welcome back to Financial Independence 101. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about misleading media. And you've probably heard the fake news, that's a fun catchphrase that you hear a lot, but the reality of it is that it's more like misleading media. It's been a long time since I've actually been able to watch news that's not been filtered 5 different ways. It hasn't been rewritten just to make it look a certain way, and it's mostly left-leaning. I'm going to talk about the right-leaning stuff too, and serving an agenda. And the news isn't just news. It's not just given it straight up, this is what happened. It's given to you through filters, and it's set up. I'm going to talk about world news tonight, just one episode, last night, just randomly, whatever they had on, and I'm going to show this to you, and you can actually apply this to any episode of any news broadcast from the national level. Now, local level, they're going to give it to you straight, but then they're going to get their information already pre-filtered so that affects your local news also. But we're going to get into talking about this. No slight against world news tonight. It's just much easier with them because they're so obvious about it. And then I'm going to get into other news outlets, and I'm also going to get into, of course, right-leaning news outlets because they're all guilty of it. They're all guilty of the same thing, and we're going to talk about this and more coming up. All right, so I want to start out saying this is not a video about Donald Trump, and I will make videos about Donald Trump, and I want to tell you that if you're new to watching my channel, I want to say that there are other people out there that I think would do a great job in the presidency, like Peter Schiff, but some of the stuff that they're doing to Trump is also to deter other people like Peter Schiff from wanting to step up and do stuff like this. But getting into this, there are two different segments about Donald Trump. And it's really strange that they give you this segment, and then we're going to talk about the other segment, and they split it up, and then they sandwich Biden in the middle. It's really weird. I would think you would want to give Donald Trump 1 issue and Donald Trump 2 issue side by side. But maybe they're spreading them out so viewers that view later can get a Trump-bashing message also. I don't know. It's ridiculous that they did that. That's something fun and new that they just did last night. Now, getting into this one here, Trump cannot make the $464 million bond. And I don't even want to get into how radical and crazy it is that this guy's fined a sixth of his net worth. Real estate moguls do not keep $464 million in cash sitting around. Real estate investors invest their money into actual real estate. And so the goal here is to confiscate his properties and all that. But we're not going to get into that here. It's just the fact that they have every single one of these Trump clips is leaning to make this guy look bad. Whether you love Trump or you hate Trump, it's also about ratings. They know if they got Trump in there somewhere, they could right away start talking about Trump. They know they're going to get a lot of people hooked. A lot of people want to watch it. You can also do the same thing if you look on YouTube and somebody makes a YouTube video about Donald Trump. Same exact thing. Views are through the roof. You can make a video saying, I hate Donald Trump. You get a ton of views. You can make a video, I love Donald Trump. You get a ton of views. That's the way YouTube is. It's also the way mass media is. Then we get into Biden's stark warning to Netanyahu. And the media does the opposite with Biden. They do anything they can to make him look good. And if Biden says something stupid, they try to cover it up. If he the 30 seconds of the can't figure out what he just said, right? They're not going to play his clip of him talking. They're going to just say what he said. They're not going to let 30 seconds of jumbled mess coming out of his mouth make him look bad on the news, so let's just not show that. They're going to do a whole lot of things when it comes to Biden. Now, yes, it's irritating, but let's flip the script. If Donald Trump was sitting in that seat right there, love him or hate them, if you love Donald Trump, hate Donald Trump, either way, if he was sitting in that seat, they'd be saying that what Trump said to Netanyahu was bad. There's 5 reasons why it's bad. That's not journalistic integrity. And how I know this is because when Donald Trump did say anything to world leaders, they had something negative to say about it, almost every time. But getting also into this, if Biden were to come out and Biden were to change parties they'd attack him too. They would. He'd be on the hit list. He'd be a new political opponent of World News Tonight. Now, this goes back to the previous night where the media literally took his words, Trump's words, about the auto industry and said that he's talking about violence. Financial bloodbath in the auto industry equals violence. And now they're talking about how Trump's defending his terms, all that stuff. So this is not, again, this is not a Trump video. This is the media, and the media is infatuated with hating or loving Trump, depending on which media outlet it is. And you have to watch that. But it's kind of funny. But what's showing a massive amount of journalistic integrity is this right here. Enter the guy they try to get on anytime they want to do some Trump bashing. You know, you want to get some good old fashioned Trump bashing, you go find the world leader in Trump bashing. He literally wrote the book on Trump bashing, and there it is. And it flipped the script. If you have somebody else that's the Biden basher and wrote the book on hating Biden, and then that's the person you bring in anytime there's a Biden segment, that would be wrong too. That would be completely wrong. But here we go. Here we go. Jonathan Karl. So I was watching John Karl a couple years ago, and I was like, this guy hates Donald Trump. Why do they bring him on every time they have a Trump segment? You could tell by the disgusted look on his face, and he just goes out of his way to tell you how bad Donald Trump is and what he did was wrong and how wrong it is in so many ways, shapes, and form. But that's not what the news is for. The news is to say, this event happened. That's it. Not, this event happened, but it's so bad because here's the 5 points that this is so bad. That's not what the news is for. This is trying to filter it. It's trying to change your mind. It is supposed to, it's propaganda. It's misleading every single step of the way. And you keep seeing it every night. Every single night. But I looked it up, and he wrote some books on them. And I don't know how much money John Karl's made with these books on Donald Trump, but it must be quite lucrative to continue your career as the leading anti-Trump person out there. Then they had a segment on how Biden did it's all political, isn't it? The whole news is political, right? How Biden took a picture with the Kennedys, which that's interesting that RFK's not in there, without RFK. And let's just say this is more propaganda to discredit RFK. Now, I don't think RFK has a chance of getting elected at all. But the thing is, RFK is following in the steps of John F. Kennedy, and he's wanting to kind of push back against the Democrat Party. And that means he's trying to push forward for citizens. And with that, he has no chance. I mean, if you're going to push back against the Democrat Party, you saw what happened to John F. Kennedy. He's not around. And now you see he wants to push back. He's not going to get the support. The problem also with RFK is that we really do have a problem with having Republicans and Democrats. Having the bipartisanship is that someone like him that doesn't get the support of either one of those parties fully, he's not going to make it. And although his ideas might be great, he's not going to make it. He's just not going to have the support just from independents. And it's sad that we can't have an independent step in. An independent has to say, okay, I don't agree with everything from the Democrats or everything from the Republicans, but I got to pick one if I'm going to get into office. And that is a big problem in America. But RFK is showing that. He's showing that issue. But will it change? Probably not in my lifetime. Then they get back to this gun control. So deadly spring break violence in Florida and gun control. They want to disarm American citizens. You know, you got to understand that no society is ushered in communism with citizens that are armed. So this is a long-term strategy. Anytime something like this happens, I can understand they talked about it. It was a thing, and they talked about it. But 3 days of the same story over and over and over, exact same footage. It's just, they don't usually do that for every story. Show you the exact same story, exact same footage. Are they just, is it a light news day? Is that why they did it? Or did they have to just have some sort of gun control segment filled up? Because they have a gun control segment every single episode. I mean, this is mass manipulation. It's lacking journalistic integrity, of course, all of that kind of good stuff. Now we're into airplane. So United CEO's message to customers. There is now a new anti-airline, anti-Boeing, anti-United segment. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't truly understand it 100%. But I know, hey, these old planes are having some problems. That's great. How come there's a segment on it almost every night? Almost every night. I don't understand why. Why is there a segment on this almost every night? How come the same exact segment's regurgitated 6 times? again. Like, why did that need to be a segment tonight? We saw that. I saw that 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Why is it regurgitated? Why are they putting it back up? Not this one here specifically, but other ones that they've shown. Back to the Biden stark warning to Netanyahu. In that, they talked about the IDF launches deadly raid on Gaza's largest hospital. Here's one thing I've never really understood, but I actually do understand, is how come American citizens, we don't need to know what's going on in the financial industry. We don't need to know the strengths of our banks. We don't need to know how safe our money is, or if there's going to be a bail-in where they take your money in the bank and just give you stock in the bank because the bank collapses and FDIC is insolvent. We don't need to know all that. You know what we need to know? We need to know the step-by-step military strategy that's going on in these two wars that they're fighting. Why does every American citizen need to know every single step-by-step detail to what's going on in this war? Why? So you're sympathetic to them sending money over there. So you're experiencing inflation because they're creating money out of thin air to borrow it because the government is broke, sending it over to these countries, and you're paying more for your goods and services. So you have to be sympathetic to this. You have to. There's something wrong with you if you're not sympathetic to this and paying way more for your goods and services and struggling to get by yourself. But you got to send money over to this. And you've got to support all of this that's over there. Whether you believe in it or not, they're trying to manipulate you so that you do believe in it. All this is in one episode, and it's all just randomly. I picked today to do it, the last night to take the notes and all this stuff to look into this. We've got Oprah coming out again, the exact same segment again that we saw months ago. Why? It doesn't make sense. When you watch the commercials for this, the commercials for World News Tonight, or probably any news channel, news station, the commercials are Big Pharma. They make up 80% of the commercials, it seems like. It appears. That's another thing I should probably do, is count the airtime that Big Pharma takes. They are one of the largest contributors and advertisers. And with that, there's constantly some sort of message about these drugs that are coming out. And it doesn't matter which one. It doesn't really. But in this particular case, Oprah's coming out talking about them. I wonder. I'm not going to say anything negative about Oprah. I'm sure there's a lot of negative things to say. But I'm not going to say anything negative about her. And this is like saying, hey, you're trying to come out and use this diabetes medication to lose weight. I mean, is that what she's really saying? Is she just trying to promote these corporations? What's her real agenda that's going on? I don't know. I'm not going to accuse her of anything because I really don't know. But it just seems kind of strange that they're regurgitating this again. Because she did this months ago. So why isn't it on last night again? I don't understand. But that gets into Good Morning America. I'm going to touch on a couple of news outlets here, and I'm going to say that Good Morning America is a big fluff piece. If you just kind of want to turn your brain off and just hear people talk about stuff, and you don't think very hard in the morning, it's good. I guess it is good in the morning, so your brain, you're still trying to wake up. For me, I wake up, my mind is fired. It's on fire when I wake up. It's just booming. But other people, it takes them a while to get around. They're still groggy for a while. But with this show, it is fluff. And they do serve an agenda. They are right there serving a very left-leaning agenda. They're trying, if there is a little bit of news, it's as filtered as what you saw the night before, and maybe they add a couple of things to the small news stories that they cover. And when they cover event, it's usually just, hey, this is all fun and great and happy, and it's good. They cook some food and they do some things. I have never watched a Good Morning America that I felt was worth my time at all, ever. I just feel like it was a waste of time every time I watch it. But my wife loves it, so sometimes I watch it with her. But I gotta say that this is another one of those filtered shows. You really can't trust 100% the news that comes out of it because it's not coming to you straight either. Now, a lot of people look to The View as a news show, but The View is not news. And let's just put that out there. It's not news. And it's their opinions. And most of them are so far left that reality doesn't make any sense. I do not watch this show. I only get the bits and clips and stuff that people say, whenever they say something really radical so they can try to get some ratings or something, and it makes into the media and people start talking about it. That might be why they say radical things, so that they could get some more views and people would watch them and they can make more money. So I'm going to leave this on the right-wing note. And there's right-wing news media serving their agendas too. I think Newsmax is pretty decent about making sure that they've got their facts straight. I think Fox has some good personalities that do keep their facts straight. And I'm actually not going to bash Fox, but they've done some stuff. They did some stuff with Tucker that wasn't right, and he's a scapegoat. And when you watch it, sometimes it's like, you guys are just going a little bit too overboard. If you just give the facts and you give it straight, you shouldn't have to filter it. You shouldn't have to put it through a filtration narrative. You shouldn't have to use manipulation either direction. Whether it's the left-leaning or the right-leaning, you shouldn't have to. But Fox does. And I don't even know these personalities in this picture. I don't know any of these. I don't know any of them. I don't watch Fox. But with that, you just give the facts straight. Exactly how it is. And don't have to put filters on it. You don't have to manipulate either side. That's the way it should be in media. We don't have that in America. There's no journalistic integrity that I see anywhere, and that does suck. I'm curious what you think about this. What do you think about journalism in America? What do you think about the misleading media that we continually see every single day on our news? Like and subscribe. Financial Independence out.